A grocery helper called me a little old lady. The young man who was helping me carry my groceries was feeling a bit chatty as we walked to our car. I was parked next to one of those really big trucks, one of those ones who could probably pull your whole neighborhood behind it. We got to my car and I opened the trunk and the young man said, "Oh, I thought we were going to that big truck." But then I started thinking, why would that little old lady be driving a big truck? Let's just take a moment. Little old lady? I made some notes. I laughed back then, but it reminded me how easy it is for us to believe the lie that our age disqualifies us. Have you ever looked at your life and quietly wondered, did I miss my chance? Did God have something wonderful planned for me 20 years ago? And was I trying to fold my fitted sheet and I completely missed the opportunity? Maybe you've thought that, but you haven't said it out loud. Well, I have some encouraging words for us today. Abraham's story has something to say about this. Abraham was almost 100 years old when God fulfilled his promise. And the Bible tells us that Abraham at that time thought his body was as good as dead. The Bible also tells us that Abraham never wavered in believing God's promise. In fact, his faith grew stronger, and in this he brought glory to God. He was fully convinced that God is able to do whatever he promises. That's from Romans chapter 4. Here's what I love about Abraham's story. God didn't look at him and say, "Oh, sorry, you're past the age limit." He didn't look at him and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, that promise expired about 20 years ago." There are days I walk into a room and I wonder why I walked into the room. You know what I mean? But I don't think that has to do with my age. I think it has to do with all the memories and experiences and life lessons and names of kids I went to high school with, and all those memories are looking for a place on the same shelf. God isn't waiting for us to be younger in order to bless us. God promises us a full life, a life of purpose, a life of joy. Our age does not disqualify us from his goodness. God's promises are just as true at 70 as they are at 17. If God could fulfill Abraham's promise when Abraham was 100, I know that he's not going to disqualify me from any of his promises just because of my age. I'm half tempted to go and buy me one of those big trucks, the biggest one I can find, and go back to that grocery store, find that young man and ask him to help me carry my groceries again. And when we get to my truck and he says, "Ma'am, is this your truck?" I'm going to say, "Yes, it is. God is not done with me yet." But I think I might need a little help if I have to back into that parking space. Age may change what we can do. Age will never change what God can do. God's goodness is still showing up today, in this season, in this chapter, at our age. I'm so glad you're here.